say, get prepared before you get to Kapooka physically?
100%. And if you're going rifling, Kapooka is nothing. It only ramps up from there. So
Good on you guys. Duty first. Curiosity? Hey team, how we going? It is Kaz from In the Trenches with Kaz, and I am here today for a casual and candid conversation from me to you, the military mentor, retired, to those that are seeking out the Skippy badge, the ECN 343. 2nd Battalion Royal Australian Regiment Amphibious, second to none. Or even the Infantry Combat Badge, the badge that is worn for those that have deployed on the great adventure on an operational deployment abroad, within the role, where your primary goal is to seek out and close the enemy, to kill or catch him, seize and hold ground, repel attack by day or night regardless of season, weather or terrain. As we talk over this, pause it now after you subscribe, after you consider supporting the channel by following the Patreon link below for the price of a coffee a month, so you can help others after you've actually achieved said badge with my help, while thinking about a Coca-Cola, the dentist's choice. And let's get into it. So team, just a little bit of a caveat for you. This is going to have to be a 2-part episode. The reason being is there's just so much difference between Singleton and Kapooka. So instead of this video being an hour, to make sure that you can actually take in what I'm trying to say, there's going to be a second part, and that's going to be coming out in a couple of days. Hang on, enjoy. Which battalion do you want to go to? Let me know in comments and why. We're going to deliver this and break it down into several points, and they're going to be mostly comparisons to get you ready intellectually, mentally, administrationally, and psychologically as you're on your journey. And this is a source material you can use for yourself, but it can also be something that you share with family, friends, and those that are trying to make sense of the decisions that you've made for your career path in your life, or at least the first 4 years. So team, Kapooka. That is where we make our first step after doing the oath or affirmation to the Queen or to God to go to Kapooka, the home of the Australian soldier, the best soldiers in the world. The difference between Kapooka and the School of Infantry, the standout things from the very start, is when you go to Kapooka, everything is authoritarian. The second you get out of the bus, as they would say in England, you will be told where to go, where to be, when to talk, what to do, when to go to the toilet, when to shower, how long you can shower for, how long you can eat for, etc. Everything will be regimented, everything will be time limits, everything will be black and white, and it'll be done to a T. And if not, there will be no wiggle room for anything but compliance. The School of Infantry is the opposite. It'll give you responsibility because you're already now considered a fully trained Australian soldier, all-corps Australian soldier. But what we're going to do now is specialise. So now you go to Singleton. So when you get to Singleton, it's going to be different. And we're going to cover those steps now.
30 seconds, team. 30 seconds. Assault force will be on their feet around now.
So team, point 1. Let's call this one 343. Because it is in actual fact the ECN, the rifleman position that you are going for. How is it different to Kapooka? Well, Kapooka is a hodgepodge. It is a boiling pot of emotions, of different ECNs, different character types, different outcomes required, different genders, different capability, different expectation, different responsibility, and a completely different standard required, which is far below that of the ECN 343. We'll call this primary school, so to speak, learning to be a student. When you get there, everything is going to be chaos. There's going to be emotion. There is a push and pull of expectation of the soldier while we create one. There's chaos. Push that aside. What there is not in 343 is that same chaos. Every single person has now been panned for gold and infantry is left in the bottom of the pan. It'd be the same if I said for cav. It'd be cav in the bottom of the pan. If it was ordnance, ordnance in the bottom of the pan. But we're talking about 343 today, infantry. So all of the nuggets at the bottom of the pan get put in the bus, and then they are taken to the next part of the refinery, high school, so to speak. You are now qualified. You know how to speak weapons safely. You know how to wear your clothes. You know how to address ranks. All of that is out the way. You're off your L plates. Now you're on your Ps. You are in a group, a herd of everyone that has exactly the same goal as you, and that is to successfully get their Skippy badge. Again, symbology means everything. Bam. There we go. Skippy badge. The coveted $1.75 badge that'll cost you 1 billion calories. But you have to earn it. And who's going to teach you? It's going to be the instructors, the section commanders. They're going to get you there, and they're 3432. So they're only concentrating on what it's going to take for you to continue on and navigate the hurdles to get to where you have to go in the shortest amount of struggle time, and they're going to cut out the fat. They're going to get rid of the shit you don't need to know. So you're in one herd, the 343 herd. That is where it's completely different. And you're going to notice there's a lot less chaos from Kapooka to when you get to the School of Infantry. Like-minded people, one mission, one goal. That's step one. 343.
10 seconds. Life's about to change for some.
DOS, 2, 2nd Battalion. Let's call this one instructors versus section commanders. There's a massive difference between working as an instructor at Kapooka as opposed to being a section commander in the School of Infantry. Now, in Kapooka, you can be any corps, teaching any corps, so to speak, because you're teaching people the blueprint, the lesson plan, no wiggle room. This is what you have to do. This is when you have to be there. This is how long you've got to go. And this is the fail criteria. Okay, that is Kapooka. Very authoritarian. When you get to the School of Infantry, it's going to change. This is the big brother, mentor, fatherly kind of instruction that comes from a section commander. You're going to be mentored. You're still going to be taught. There's blueprints for the lessons as well, and there's training objectives that must be met. Sure. But your section commanders are there to mentor you in a big brother, a fatherly kind of way. As a subject matter expert, they are infantry teaching infantry, which means you're going to learn above the line requirements, responsibilities, ways of doing things, how to skin a cat, etc. But it's also going to be done with personality. It's going to be done with humor. There is the ability for you to be able to have a conversation with a section commander that you couldn't have with an instructor at Kapooka. There is going to be times where the section commander is going to be mouth shut, ears opening, and actually listening to what you have to say. The evolution of the training block. The hand is coming off, and we're allowing you to have some sort of autonomy over your actions, but you will be held responsible for the moves you make. Where this becomes very important is when you start to pluck information from those section commanders on where you're going to go next, why you should go there, what is the best place to go, what is the difference between going to 5RR, 7RR, 6, 8, 9, or 1, 2, and 3. Back to 1 and 2, 2RR, the Premier Battalion. So that is section commanders versus instructors.
Okay, team, HL now.
This leads us on to the third point, and we're going to talk about accommodation now. As you know, the accommodation in Kapooka is shared, and that is to promote the buddy system, so to speak, the building of the team. Well, that all changes in some ways when you get to the School of Infantry. At the School of Infantry, you will get a room to yourself that you're responsible for. It will have a door that closes. You will have privacy, your cocoon, somewhere to go and relax. somewhere where you can make love to yourself, or you can sit on a mobile phone, or you can write a letter at any time of night with the light on, so to speak. You'll have autonomy, your own little Chaz in there for those that are watching Seattle at the moment. This also allows you to have showers as long as you want, as hot as you want. It allows you to dry clothes. It allows you to wash when you want, when you need, as a group or individually. Again, you have to keep those clean. And you'll be sharing this building normally with up to 12 other individuals. Yep, that'll be your section. So team, let's now talk about point 4. We're going to call this one freedom of movement. And that's in the School of Infantry as opposed to Kapooka. As we know in Kapooka, everywhere you go, you have to be going as a platoon or a section, and it's going to be under the direction of a section instructor, your instructor, or a platoon sergeant, etc. Well, that all changes when you get to the School of Infantry, where you can get around by yourself. I hope not. It's the land of mateship. Or you can travel around with your buddy. You can go to the coffee shop. You can go to the bar if the hours are open. You can go to the mess hall. You can go to the movies that's on base. You can go to the swimming pool. We'll talk more about that later. You can go to town on Thursday night, be back by 10 o'clock, and that's to do administration. You can do on-base banking. Make sure you say hello to Fiona. I'm like brothers and sisters with her. Boom. But not in a Tasmanian kind of way. And then on weekends, if they're deserved and not lost, you'll be given either go to the Singleton town itself, which you're not allowed to drink in, and you have to be back by 10 o'clock. But if you flap your wings and go a little bit further and you go to Newcastle, and then you stay near the beach and go for lovely walks with your buddies, trying to football around at the beach, having a swim, it's winter, watch out. I recommend going to the Honeysuckle Hotel. There's a lot of room there. The drinks are great. The ladies are beautiful. The view is fantastic. The food is amazing. Okay, and the live music is to die for. That's fantastic. I recommend it. The other thing, alternately, if they open up the areas for local leave, you may be able to go all the way to Sydney, which means marriedies, get your missus down there, spend a weekend with her, make another kid, do what you have to do. Okay, or meet your kids there, take them to the zoo, whatever. But again, you're going to be back by 10 o'clock, so plan it well. All right, so I do recommend that you get out of the barracks when you can. You need to do it to clear your head, so you feel a little bit normal with the shitty haircut that you're still rocking at the moment. Freedom of movement. School of Infantry. You've got it. And what's more, you can even go for walks around the base with a buddy, back and forth from meal points. You can go for walks around the base in areas that aren't out of bounds, etc. While you're on your phone, make sure you're standing still. You can do that. All right, guys. That's point 4.
Put on your guts, helmets on, pick your weapons up, get those safety catches over on the fire.
Naturally, the rigours of Kapooka are nowhere near the level required, and you will go to the School of Infantry undercooked physically if you didn't already have the skills up before you actually got to Kapooka and you haven't had skill fade, strength fade, etc. So, to make up for Kapooka and its lack of preparation for the School of Infantry, you do have some autonomous movement where you can go to the facilities on base to improve yourself, to recover from hard PT, etc. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the gymnasium facility. Although you're not allowed to go to the gymnasium and start going to the gym because you want to pump iron, because we're not into the bodybuilding sort of training. We're here for muscular endurance, and you will be getting a steady program of that. So what the pool is good for, heated pool, so to speak, that'll allow you to do recovery. It'll allow you to do hard laps, if you wish. It'll allow you to prepare to go for the 2nd Battalion Royal Australian Regiment's swim test. It'll allow you to take your buddies there and have some time out where no one can hear you, and you can communicate on things that are either good, bad, what you're doing this weekend, etc. It's just another step to autonomy. And when no one's watching, you can go and do some push-ups on the side of the pool or some dips, etc. But be aware, the PT session can step up very quickly. And if you've got delayed onset muscle soreness, which can be caused by stretching those muscles beyond or not allowing them to recover, then watch out. So the pool can be used as just an individual afternoon getaway. It can be used for recovery laps, or it might even be for recreation. Going up there, have a bit of slap ass with your buddies, pretending you're sailors for 40 minutes. And it might even be just the way you bathe if you're from England. So that is an excellent opportunity for individual training. Also, you can go to the football oval and you can kick a footy around. You can do that too.
The meatloaf! We want it now! The meatloaf!
This brings us to point 6, and this is about meals and how Kapooka is different to the School of Infantry. Well, at Kapooka, you get less choice of food, I reckon less quality food, and you have less time to eat it, and you only might have 2 slices of bread, get in, fuel your face, then get outside. That's not really the case with the School of Infantry, where you have more choice of food. I've always found the choice of food fantastic. There's also a salad bar, dessert bar. There is the ability for freedom of movement within there. You'll sit in a platoon, but it's relaxed. You go in there, you walk up, you get in line, make sure your boots are clean, get your meal, sit down, eat your meal, laugh, talk, take your time, and then you can go back to the barracks. Make sure you do have breakfast. You're going to need that fuel while you're in the School of Infantry. Alternatively, team, if you don't want to go to the mess with your buddies and you've been told you can do so by the staff, then simply go up to the canteen. And you can go up to the canteen facility and fill your guts with those fake Chico rolls and the crab sticks that contain no crab. It's all up to you. Have a coffee, sit down, relax in the environment that you choose to put the fuel back into your body. But there is also a salad bar. There is also a dessert bar. Don't have ice cream. That's for sailors. Fluffy Whip goes in, comes out the same, just different colour. Stay with me, team, as we go into point 7. And we're going to call this one the light at the end of the tunnel. Why would I call it that? Because we are, in fact, at the light at the end of the tunnel. At Kapooka, there is no light at the end of the tunnel. At Kapooka, you're thinking, even when I get through here successfully, I'm going to be an all-corps Australian soldier qualified, sure. But I'm going to leave everyone that I've made friends with here. And then I'm going to go for the grueling task from going from base camp to the peak of Mount Everest, where the light at the end of the tunnel starts again. But it's going to be a true light at the end of the tunnel. Because when you get to the School of Infantry and you get into a session after successfully completing your BFA and being fit enough to go into the session where you get put into Borneo Platoon, Long Tan Platoon, or Kapyong, then what occurs is the journey begins. And as long as you don't fail and get back squatted because you're using point 2, the section commander, rather than an instructor to say, can you please help me? I need help with this. You won't get the help unless you ask for it. But you're also going to be in a team of people where there is no political correctness. There's going to be dark humour. There is going to be a comrade mateship forged by all those that have everything in common with you. They won't get there individually. They will help you. You will help them. As they fall, you will pick them up, vice versa. Obstacle course, hardcore, outfield, defense, attack, you name it. Carrying someone else's pack in the reorg. But the light is at the end of the tunnel. And you know the Skippy badge is getting bigger and bigger. And it's waiting for you. And what's good about this is you know that the friendships that you made in Kapooka, they tended to stay in Kapooka. They didn't evolve beyond there. But you can actually bond with those that you go to Singleton with, the School of Infantry with, especially when you find out that they are going to the same battalion as you, whether it be 5, whether it be 7, 1, 2 or 3, whether it be 8, 9, whether it be 7. 6. 6 area. And once you have your lineage and you're going to that battalion, then they're going to be real mates until you again, evolve and make other real mates, brothers, so to speak, band of brothers in the platoon you get allocated to in the battalion that hopefully you chose to go to and worked hard towards and earned. You earned it. 343. It's only one or two corps that earns their hat badge. Armoured Corps and Infantry. The rest get theirs at Kapooka. You have to finish your initial deployment training. The light is at the end of the tunnel and people will help you get there. It's not an individual. It's not an individual journey. So the light is at the end of the tunnel. Enjoy that. Do everything you can and you'll get there. That is the termination of point 7. Okay, team, let's wrap this one up. Point 8. This is going to be the last point. This is going to be the gravy on top, so to speak, cabin boy. The difference between Kapooka and the School of Infantry is the responsibility. In Kapooka, there's a hand up your ass. We help you do every single thing with no wiggle room whatsoever. And if you fail, we pick you up, we retrain you, and off you go again. At the School of Infantry, it is the work you did before you got to Kapooka that makes the massive difference on how you navigate the School of Infantry successfully or through excruciating pain every single day as you are physically broken down while trying to reach the light at the end of the tunnel with the mates that are more brother than friend. So do the work to make tomorrow easier. It is no joke. You are joining a brotherhood. No one knows what's happening in the future. No one. Not even the Chief of the Army. Not even the Chief of the Defence Force knows what's coming tomorrow. It's called fate. So the School of Infantry, we will take the hand off. We will give you responsibility. We will give you the ability to roam around as you please, to be a little bit more of you, to add some personality to the mix. But when you fail, you'll be held responsible. You can't get back squatted. 20% of the platoon that have already had their hand up and bought photos of themselves at Kapooka will fail in each platoon. Nearly 20%. So when you get your Skippy badge, you will know you earned it. You will understand that duty first means something on the bottom of that hat badge. And you will be part of a brotherhood that trains, prepares, rests, and continues the cycle until one day the glass smashes when politicians haven't done their job correctly. And without a political view, then you will be reunited at the light at the end of the tunnel with your platoon. And then you will train for the hardest day, your test, the great adventure. And there'll be people like me, again, to help you get there as you make the best friends of your life, one at a time, through hardship after hardship. And one day when you're talking to your kids, and one day when you're talking to your wife, and your mates are meeting your kids, that's a life lived. And I reckon that's pretty cool. So welcome to the difference between 343 and an all-corps Australian soldier. It's a big step, but you chose it, and you're a volunteer, and I've got faith in you. And if you come over and you put a message in comments below, I'll be happy to answer it. See you later. Fletch, Felix the Cat, Ed B. It's Kaz and 343. Out to you. Take it easy.
Okay, reload. Opportunity targets, watch and shoot. We're going to hold location here. We're going to quiet time. Okay, team, wait out.